Let me start by saying welcome to yet another video with Ultra Mega Fan Show. And without taking more of your time, let's start talking Mass Effect. Actually, today's video is all about why, from my humble point of view, not only why I consider Mass Effect 1, 2 and 3 among the best video games I've ever played in my life, but what makes them so goddamn special in the mind and heart of some nobody crazy-ass Mass Effect fan like myself. So, let's begin. Personally, I can't point to a single thing and say, hey everybody, that's my reason for liking the game that much. But what I can say is I'm a sucker for anything that gets out of its original box. Let me explain. You see, in entertainment in general, a TV show or movie or video game, sometimes we get ourselves a fantastic trilogy like Lord of the Rings or the Dark Knight trilogy or Zack Snyder's cut of the Justice League. And yes, I really loved that movie. I truly believe that it's the best adaptation of a superhero movie ever made.
Not impressed.
And in television, I'm pretty sure that there are at least 100 shows that airs every single year. But we only get a Game of Thrones caliber of a television series once in a lifetime, that if we are so extremely lucky. What made those pieces of entertainment so great is probably the same thing that makes Mass Effect the best video game I've ever played in my entire life, and that's, my good friend, is what I like to call a full and a complete experience. There's no doubt in my mind that the world that BioWare crafted truly is one of, if not the most interesting world ever presented in a video game. One that makes you care about all its details no matter how small and tiny they are. From the first contact war with the Turians, you know, the one that led to our introduction to every single other race in our galaxy, and also created one of the most, racist character in the game, and that is Saren, who I can really consider one of the most well-written villains in gaming in general. And not to forget the fact that because of how it was handled, humanity was always seen as being reckless race. Fun fact about that, do you guys know that there are some nuclear missiles left roaming freely in Turian space that we wish nobody would ever find them? And what's funnier, it is actually something that I really and honestly believe we could do in the future based on how amazing we are obviously doing right now. And the more I know about the events of the Rachni War, the more I'm convinced that because of it, our first contact war with the Turians happened in the first place, as we have broken some galactic rules without actually knowing that there are rules to begin with. And understanding the culture and history of all the other races in the galaxy was so extremely detailed that I really believe that it's one of the most amazing experiences in Mass Effect trilogy in general. And before playing the first Mass Effect game, I really thought that doing all or any of this wasn't even possible in a video game format. Yes, I am no stranger to the existence of other games like Final Fantasy or Metal Gear Solid or even the Witcher series. But respectfully, I really think that there are no other video game that came before Mass Effect or even after ever paid that much of attention to those micro details. It was more like adding layer upon layer to what we know today as the full Mass Effect storyline. That until the release of Mass Effect 4, of course. And before jumping to the next point of this video, the next one will be about the Rachni War, also known as the Krogan's Uprising, as I see it as the actual reason behind the first contact war with the Turians. So I'm gonna start with this one and keep moving forward with all other events that led to the first Mass Effect game. So stay tuned and maybe subscribe to the channel if you want. And that's where I will fanboy for a while, so bear with me. I don't think at all that there is a video game in existence that was able to present its characters in a unique style like Mass Effect. So let's drop our Normandy crew for a second. I will gush about them later, I promise you that. But for a few moments, let's talk about other characters like Anderson, who acts like a father figure to Shepard, and it feels like he or she are perfectly and safely able to drop their guard down around him. And how amazing it was seeing that father-son or father-daughter relationship develop from one game to another. And what about that one and only elusive man, the infamous leader of Cerberus, who's from the very first time you meet with him in Mass Effect 2, You know for a fact that no matter what kind of bullshit that he's trying to sell you, you can never trust him, and you shouldn't trust him, by the way. Sorry, spoiler alert.
Shepard, good work on Freedom's progress. The Quarians forwarded their findings from Vidor's debriefing. No new data, but it's a surprising olive branch given our history. You and I have different methods, but I can't argue with your results.
When it comes to an amazingly well-written characters in a video game, the chances are Mass Effect is always within that conversation, if not on the top of that list. And before talking about your crewmates, are you familiar with looters like Warframe or Destiny 1 and 2? And also, are you aware of the existence of a genre in gaming called gacha games? Like Genshin Impact or Epic 7 on mobile devices? If you are, then probably tier lists are no stranger to you. You see, normally tier lists are made to categorize characters or weapons based on their status, combat effectiveness, usability, and team synergies, right? The only single video game out there that tier lists are made for it based on how we feel emotionally about its characters is, in fact, Mass Effect. As you can't deny that a trilogy got some of the best and the most extremely awesome crewmates in the history of video games. As by the time you're watching the credits of Mass Effect 3, not only you got to know them, but you will feel as if you are parting away from an amazing, loving, understanding, caring family that you were just a part of a moment ago. And I still remember some of those moments that really shaped the way that I viewed this game, like losing on purpose to Gareth in our shooting game. It really felt like you're trying to make him feel better, at least a bit better about himself, before we both jump into yet another one-way ticket kind of mission. And listening to Mordin singing his song in Mass Effect 2 that came out of nowhere, yet it was funny as hell to just watch. It made you feel like he's more than just some crazy Salarian scientist, but a human with real-life interest and hobbies. And hell, that Salarian really can sing.
I'm sorry. I know that was important, but you performed Gilbert and Sullivan?
I am the very model of a scientist Salarian. I've studied species Turian, Asari, and Batarian. I'm quite good at genetics as a subset of biology because I am an expert, which I know is a tautology. My xenoscience studies range from urban to agrarian. I am the very model of a scientist Salarian.
And that last conversation between Tali and Legion as she tells him, yes, you are indeed have a soul right before he dies, that mission was already awesome. But adding that small yet effective scene left me in tears. And for some odd reason, that sex scene between you and Liara in the first Mass Effect game is still a fucking mind-blowing to this day. Speaking of Liara, watching her development from a young and naive 106 years old Asari to probably the most powerful woman in the galaxy during the Shadowbroker DLC made me think, you know what, Naughty Dog? That is how you write a strong and powerful female character in a video game, by the way. I can keep going for the next 10 hours or so and I wouldn't give them justice, not even by close. I'm sorry for sounding like a broken record here, but really I believe when it comes to amazing characters in video games or any other medium, Mass Effect is always on the top of that list, at least for me. I will only speak briefly about those motherfuckers as I'm planning to release a video dedicated for them right after the Ragnar War. But what I can say for now, and without spoiling the story for those of you who never played Mass Effect before and planning to play the Legendary Edition. Do you guys remember when Bioware announced Andromeda back in 2014 and the internet went crazy during that lovely time? The one thing that really concerned me the most was how exactly does Bioware are planning to top the Reapers, especially with the size of the threat that those big-ass machines presented. You know, as anyone who ever played the original trilogy knows that they were really the center of the Mass Effect story. I have been playing video games for over 25 years now. I can't remember any video game other than maybe the third Mass Effect that made me both excited and worried. You know, worried is a very small word, so let's say terrified at the same time before playing it, because I truly did not have the slightest idea on how we could ever hope to defeat the Reapers, especially after witnessing the attack on the Citadel in Mass Effect 1. And that was just one of them. What hope do we have against hundreds of his friends, or maybe 1,000 or hundreds of thousands of his friends? Yeah, we are so fucked. The point I'm trying to make here, earlier in the video I said I'm a sucker for anything that gets out of its original box, right? Mass Effect is just a video game, and it's supposed to be viewed as such. But by the time you beat the last one, you can't help it but to see it's a piece of art, crafted carefully by a team of artists that back then they were definitely at the top of their game. And by this team, I of course mean BioWare, and amazing storytellers, or at least they were, that didn't just create an incredible story, but they actually gave birth to what it feels like, a living and breathing universe that's full of details like I have never seen before in a video game. That is why Mass Effect was, and still is, and probably and most definitely will always be my favorite video game of all fucking time.
You have no idea what stands before you.
The fate of an entire galaxy is at stake. We will stop Saren no matter what the cost.
Your species needs to learn its place, Shepard. You've lost. You know that, don't you?
Let's finish this.
This is our only chance. Hit it with everything we got.
Saren must be stopped. And I plan to make him pay.
Thank you guys for watching me gushing on Mass Effect yet again. And for some reason, if you liked it, then please consider liking the video, and if you didn't, then don't. Subscribe to the channel, as I'm planning to release videos like this twice a week and hoping to scale it up to 3 videos a week. And don't forget to leave a comment down below. I promise I'm gonna read all of them as much as humanly possible. Thank you, stay safe, and
That's all for now. That's all for now. That's all for now. That's all for now. That's all for now.